Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Young and the Restless. Alan's evil twin exposed on wedding day to Traci. Young and the Restless spoilers are seeing Traci Abbott, Beth Maitland, happier than ever and looking forward to her future with her new fiancé, Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins. But he is hiding a horrible secret that could wreck her upcoming wedding day. We're going to talk about this shocking twist set to Traci's happily ever after. The twisted tale of Alan Laurent. Unmasking the groom on Young and the Restless. So last year, Traci Abbott, Beth Maitland, met Dr. Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, who was a good friend of her sister, Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson. And if you recall, Alan was also Ashley's psychiatrist and helping her through the DID crisis. They were friends in Paris, even though they were both Americans. And then things take a turn when Alan realized his sociopathic twin brother, Martin Laurent, was impersonating him. He had even fooled Ashley into believing he was Alan. And then eventually, Alan and his evil twin got into a scuffle in Paris. There was a fall off the balcony. And it was presumed that Martin died. So we thought, but now it looks increasingly like Alan died, and that is bad twin Martin who is with Traci and just proposed. The only other explanation is that it is Alan Laurent, but he's in the midst of a psychotic break and behaving like his evil twin brother Martin. That could be a fun twist, but it's probably the simplest thing. And it's just that Alan is the one who may be dead, and Martin is the one in Traci's life. The guy is a diagnosed sociopath who has terrible tendencies. And he's all around scary. Kidnapping plot twist. Martin's sinister game with Sharon and Phyllis. Traci thinks she's engaged to this nice guy Alan, but it looks like it's Martin who actually proposed, and who we now know kidnapped Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. Fans were absolutely stunned this week when they saw Alan open up an app on his phone to monitor footage of Sharon and Phyllis in the old psychiatric hospital. I have to say, Martin being alive and kidnapping them wasn't on my bingo card. There's been talk ever since the fact that he died that whether it was him or not, but there were no real red flags until recently when you really look back and start to make a study of it. Now, if it is Alan, maybe he's conducting some ill-conceived experiment using immersion therapy to try and get Sharon and Phyllis to work out their issues, but I doubt it. This guy, presumably Martin, seems far too sinister while watching them on his screen, looked like he was enjoying seeing them play his sick game, and was chuckling as he watched the video feed on Young and Restless. Red flags and missed clues. Is Traci engaged to a sociopath on Young and the Restless? So chances are it's Traci dating Martin all this time, and it looks like he has thoroughly gaslit her, and she truly believes that he is Alan. And it's been going on since Paris. And if you remember, Alan said before that Martin was always really good at impersonating him, and had been since they were kids. However, there have been a few red flags that some fans noticed. Traci noticed, but he was able to explain away. And he just keeps really being able to cover his tracks. Do you remember when Traci first brought Alan home with her to the Abbott mansion? He looked around the living room and said he just wanted to take it all in. And Traci said, "Well, you've been here before." And that's because Alan is close to Ashley, but Martin had never been there before. You know, so fake Alan made some excuses, and Traci kind of brushed it aside. You know, she was falling in love, she wasn't paying that close of attention. Alan needs a job. And another red flag is that Alan basically blew off work to be Traci's full-time boyfriend, you know, starting with when she had to go to LA for that meeting about one of her books. Alan was like, "Hey, I'll go with you." And then he kept blowing off all these professional obligations. As a matter of fact, since he started dating Traci, I don't think Alan's been working at all. He's just been a full-time boyfriend. The real reason, obviously, is that fake Alan can't do speaking engagements or professional conferences or treat patients. You know, there's no way he can fool fellow shrinks who all know his brother very well. And at some point, somebody would notice one of his patients might notice that there's something he's not saying right or something he's forgotten. You know, Martin just couldn't get away with it. And another huge clue is Alan said he quit his job and moved to the US permanently to be with Traci after they get married. So clearly when Alan and Martin went over the balcony together. Whether Alan died or not, Martin seems to be in control right now. Maybe they both survived. And Martin just switched places, and he has Alan stuck somewhere that he can't escape from. If you remember that scene in Paris, it seemed to be Martin that died and Alan who survived because of their clothing. But the writers might have been sloppy, or they initially intended that it would be Martin that died. Then they decided to rewrite it later and make him a villain or just ignore that part, or they'll try and explain the clothing change somehow. But I think more likely they'll ignore it. The explosive wedding reveal. Unmasking the villain on Young and the Restless. So now we know fake Alan is holding Phyllis and Sharon at Havenhurst. And maybe real Alan is locked up there, or he's in a grave in Paris with Martin's name on it. I just don't think that he's holding Alan captive, because he sent the hint to Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, to lead them to where they were. And I don't think he would risk someone finding it if he had an additional captive. And given that Alan and Martin are from America and Alan said his brother has been a sociopath in treatment for a long time, maybe Martin at one point was a patient at Havenhurst. That's why he knows the place so well and why he chose it. Fake Alan seems to be playing with Phyllis and Sharon like rats in a lab maze. And then he also seems to be toying with Traci, which is terrible. On Friday, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Billy are going to rescue Sharon and Phyllis this week. But then no one's going to know the identity of the kidnapper. At least, not for a while. So it could be that this stretches all the way until his wedding to Traci. We know Eileen Davidson is back filming as Ashley. So I think we're probably going to get a sweets wedding for Traci and her fiancé, who does not seem to be Alan Laurent at all. Fake Alan gets away with dirty deed. And something may come out around the time of the wedding that causes either Sharon or Phyllis to realize, oh, this is the guy who took us. Maybe there's a turn of phrase that he uses that reminds them of the Riddles when they were being kidnapped, something like that. And I think he's going to be backed into a corner and exposed at the wedding. Then the real crazy Martin will come out. And of course, poor Traci will be horrified. She thought she found the man of her dreams, but he is not a dream. He's a nightmare. And a sweets wedding that turns into an absolute doppelganger horror show would be high drama for Young and the Restless. So I do suspect fake Alan is going to get away with the kidnapping for now. I think the cops won't crack the kidnapping case, not that they're great at cracking any case, and then it's all going to blow up in another few weeks on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless early spoilers, March 17 to 21. Alain the captor. Claire pushes back and Jack's suspicious. Young and the Restless spoilers show that Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, is exposed, Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, clashes, and Jack Abbott, Peter Birdman, smells a rat. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and if you're not following us, please click that subscribe button. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what is coming the rest of this week. On Wednesday, March 12th, we have Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, deciding to take control and find a way out. What has got them collaborating like this? Well, Sharon stopped breathing. Then, Phyllis resuscitated her with mouth-to-mouth action. Now they have both saved each other's lives on Young and the Restless, and they think that is the final test that's going to allow them to get out of there. Sharon and Phyllis vow to team up, and they start working to get out of Havenhurst Psychiatric Clinic. Alan's deception and Traci's engagement. Meanwhile, Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, proposes to Traci Abbott, Beth Maitland, who is thrilled to say yes. But when Alan takes off to buy a ring, he stops to check his phone. He is monitoring Phyllis and Sharon in the room where they are trapped. So he is their captor. And like many fans suspected for a while, I don't think that's Alan. I think that is his evil twin Martin, even though it seems improbable. There was the whole thing with one falling to his death. And one was in clothes, the other one wasn't wearing, and there wasn't time to change. Nonetheless, I think Young and the Restless has done some sort of retroactive rewrite to make him evil. Traci tells Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, she's engaged and they are thrilled for her. Oh my gosh, poor Traci, they just can't let her be happy. The search for Phyllis and Sharon. Clues and suspicions on Young and the Restless. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, Tell Summer Newman, Allison Lanier. They've narrowed down the area where they think Phyllis and Sharon are likely being held based on various evidence. Nick seems to doubt that the ladies are in danger. He thinks there's some other motive for them having been taken. Chance is waiting on search warrants, but Nick is impatient. Chance spends some time comforting Summer and reassures her that he will bring her mom home safe and sound. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, lets Nick know that he got a text message from Phyllis's burner phone. He kept calling and calling on Young and the Restless, and then he had a text and it said, "Click here for info about Havenhurst Psychiatric Clinic." Nick looks and says the clinic is right in the quadrant where they plan to search. So Nick and Billy update Chance and they wonder, is this a real lead, or is this some sort of diabolical trap? Jack's suspicions and a dangerous trap. Thursday, March 13th, we have Jack confessing to Diane on Young and the Restless. I wonder if he is smelling a rat a little bit and concerned about Alan. Like the way he's just willing to scrap everything in his life to be with Traci. You know, he was this esteemed psychiatrist, he had all these speaking engagements, all this stuff, and it's all fallen by the wayside while he's just devoting himself to Traci. Jack may just wonder if he's too good to be true, and the answer is yes. Jack, please dig in. Sharon and Phyllis find themselves in a trap. They're trying to escape, but did Alan, evil twin Martin, set them up? And are they both in danger? Meanwhile, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, calls Adam Newman, Mark Grossman's decision-making into question. And I'm sure that his son is not going to be happy that Victor is probing him like that. And I wonder what Adam has done to annoy him. Life or death fight and a villain revealed on Young and the Restless. We've also got on Friday, March 14th, Phyllis and Sharon in a life or death fight to stay alive. So it looks like Alan/Martin's diabolical plan is not benevolent. It had seemed like it had some sort of purpose up to some point. Maybe to force their rivalry to end. But I don't know about you guys, but evil Alan/Martin really wasn't on my bingo card for this. I do think he's an interesting choice, and I'm fine with that way. We're not dealing with anybody on the regular character canvas as being this villain, and Ian Ward, Ray Wise, remains gone, which is fine. The race to rescue. Will they arrive in time? So on Friday, Nick and Billy have another lead from Chance on Young and the Restless. Looks like maybe he gets some more info either about the text or the psychiatric clinic. The guys get in the car, and Nick and Billy are racing towards Phyllis and Sharon to save them. The question, of course, is will they get there in time? Of course they will. I'm guessing the White Knights roll up at a precise moment for Nick to save Sharon and Billy to save Phyllis, but I don't think it's going to happen on Friday. Spoilers for March 17 to 21. Claire's frustration and Billy's discovery. Going into the week of March 17 through the 21st, Claire is losing patience with Summer. But she doesn't blame Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, for what his ex-wife is doing. However, Claire may ask Kyle to pay closer attention to what Summer is doing. How she is actively trying to mess with their relationship on Young and the Restless. And I personally cannot wait for Claire to just go directly at Summer and confront her. Claire knows exactly what Summer is up to, and of course, meanwhile, Billy and Nick Newman may kick off the following week just at the point where they have found the ladies. I expect Cliffhanger Friday is going to be pretty tense this week, and maybe they just pull up as things are getting bad. I don't expect resolution until the week of March 17th. Unmasking Martin. Jealousy and twisted experiments. Now, even though by the end of Wednesday's episodes, we all know it's Alan/Martin as the kidnapper, the question is, why did he do it? If you don't recall, Martin is a straight-up sociopath, while his twin Alan is a kindly doctor, and I feel pretty certain that this is something Martin's done. He made a study of psychology because his twin is a respected shrink, and he was obsessed and jealous. So I feel like this was some twisted experiment of Martin. Like he just can't help himself from being wicked. Potential relationship ships and Victor's meddling on Young and the Restless. Let's face it, no matter what, he kind of did a community service to all of Geno City if this really ends the Phyllis and Sharon rivalry. It's jousting, and it's painful to listen to, and none of their family wants to hear it anymore. He might still get a medal. Nick and Billy playing hero to these two women could be a turning point for all four of them. Nick and Sharon may spark and reunite ASAP, and Billy may rethink his feelings for Phyllis despite him being with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Poor Traci, poor Sally, things don't look good for either of them. Holden keeps playing games, scheming to get closer to Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver. He's doing devious things behind Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, back as well. This guy really is a troublemaker, just like Audra said. Victor may encourage Summer Newman to keep sabotaging Kyle and Claire on Young and the Restless. Maybe he'll even drop her some tips on how she might do it more effectively. Because so far, it's not working out real well for her on Young and the Restless. Wedding plans and a returning character, Christine's return. Traci is blissfully starting to make wedding plans. I expect May sweeps nuptials with her having no idea there's a monster in her bed. Christine Cricket Blair, Laura Lee Bell, is back to I and our Laura Lee Bell confirmed that she is back filming. No word on whether Danny Romalotti, Michael Danian, is going to be back with her, and I do wonder. I kind of want to see this. This will be proof of whether Phyllis is really changed when she sees Cricket Young and the Restless.